Okay. Well, that's pretty good, but you can see it's pretty sort of 3D and fakey. Let's make it look a little bit better. We can actually put what are called textures or pictures on these objects. Let's do that now. Oh, let's go ahead and change this back to 480 by 270. That's our working resolution. Makes it go a lot faster. We'll start by going to the material editor right over here on the main toolbar. You'll find that next to all the teapots. It might take a few moments to come up. And when it comes up, you can move yours over to the other screen. But mine, unfortunately, I only have one computer screen here to do this with, so it's going to hide some of the image over here. Okay, now we're going to build a texture. Start by going over here where it says standard. That's the textures that you want. One of the things that I always look for is this shellac because it's in red and really stands out. So whenever I see this shellac, I'll know certain things like the standard texture or the multi-sub object. Those are the two textures that we usually use. Those are right there. So let's go to standard. And we get a standard texture. Let's pick an object like the walls. I've got everything frozen. I'm going to unfreeze everything. That way I can select the walls again and everything else. Okay. So back to my material editor. Let's see here. How can I do this best? So you can see it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a string. You see how I can pull a string out from here? Pull a string and pull it all the way over, and put it onto the left wall. And you saw the left wall turn gray. Alright, that's because that's the color of this material currently is, well, gray. When I click in this material, you'll see I get a whole bunch of parameters over here. Okay, and there are several things that I can do with those parameters. But for right now, what I want to do is I want to put a material on this wall to sort of liven it up a little bit. So, back to the T drive. And back to our folders here. I'm going to go into images. And in images, you'll see a whole bunch of different textures. Once again, if you're seeing something that looks like this, all you have to do in Windows is go over here, large icons. And I think I'll go into floral patterns. That's what we have. These are a bunch of patterns that are made to repeat. One more time, if you're seeing something that looks like this, all you have to do is go over here, choose large icons. I think we'll go with, maybe with this one right here. Okay. The easiest thing to do is with your material editor up, go ahead and drag that picture, drag it, onto the slate. This is called a slate editor, by the way. There's two different forms of this material editor. This is a slate editor. So this would be a slate. Think of it as a desktop. And I'm going to attach, I can zoom in. I'm going to attach that material right there. So now the picture is attached. And you can see that that's the picture that I'm going to have on my wall. But wait a minute, I can't see that picture yet. Well, if you go up here, see where it says View, and here is where it says View. Right in between those views, those are good anchor points, you'll see there's a button. That button is called Show Shaded Materials in Viewports. Go ahead and click on that, and you can see now we can see that in the viewport. Okay, I'm going to leave my camera view for a second and go to my perspective view. And that's kind of groovy, but It's kind of big. Be kind of crazy for real wallpaper. So what we're going to do is we're going to tile this. In other words, make a repeated pattern. Back to my material editor. I'm going to close this up just by double clicking on it. And I'm going to select the picture. The picture also has parameters. And one thing we can do is we can tile. Let's see if we can see what happens while I work on this. Alright, we can kind of see my wall over here. So here's the tiling. And I can just take the spinners and I can go up. And I could go up here. Or I could give it a number. Let's see, that's not looking too bad. So how about we go 9, because this was 18 by 6, since it was 12 feet high. So that should give me a nice pattern. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Alright, so now if I want that to go on all the walls, now that I've made that material, I can just put it onto the other walls, like this. Zooming out using my wheel. I'm going to go back to the first material. I can drag that to this one and to this one. And it's going to work for all the walls because all the walls were the same size. Okay, while I'm here, I'm going to change the material name too, instead of it just being some random name. And I'll change it to walls. Okay, and I don't need that anymore. Later, I can attach it to my front wall if I decide that I'm using my front wall. Okay, that was pretty easy. Now, what about the floor? Let's put a material on the floor. Take a look in here. And what about tile? We'll take a look at tile. Oh, there's some nice ones. I think I like this one right here. Okay, what I'll do is I'll open up my material editor again, create another standard material, double click on it, and we'll call this one floor. Bring the string out, and there we go. It turns gray because the material is gray. As long as I'm here, I know I'm going to put a picture on it, so I might as well go up here to where it says view and say show picture in viewport. And you'll see it turns red and blue. The other one did that as well. I'm going to grab my material and I'm just going to drag it in. Attach it to the diffuse color. And we can see it in the viewport. Not too bad, but I think we'll tile this one as well. Let's see, this floor was what, 18 by 18? What if we tile this 3 by 3? Since there were already multiple tires in each picture. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, when I take the pictures, there's something I can do to even make this look more like it has texture, more like that is a three-dimensional surface. And that is, I can take it right here, and I can attach the picture also here to what's called bump. And that'll bump the picture up a little bit. In the maps, so let's go down here a little bit. Oh, let's go here first. Back to our original floors. That's the original materials. And roll down maps. And you'll see that bump is now selected, diffuse color is selected, because these two things, these two slots, have those attached to it. It's at 30. Let's go ahead and raise it up to 100. So we'll do it like we mean it. It can go even further than that, but 100 is probably good enough. Okay, I'm going to close this out for a second. We go back to my camera view and take a little test render. Not looking too bad.